Hey everyone, hey Jesse here. Hey, just wanted to bring you a new video today about gig economy or gig jobs, whatever you want to call them. A lot of different names for them out there, but three main gig work that I want to focus on, platforms I should say. First one, I want to talk about DoorDash. Probably the most popular, most people know about it. Second one would be Uber Eats. Another pretty famous one, another well-known. A lot of people know them for the ride share, but of course they do a lot of food delivery as well, especially through the pandemic. I know their traffic really picked up there. And then the third one that I want to talk about is Postmates as well. All three of these, great platforms. I like them all. Those are the three that I run. I know a lot of people are probably thinking Grubhub. I signed up with them just actually the other day. I'm on the waiting list. I know that's kind of a common thing for people who's starting out with Grubhub. Kind of one of those things that they have, which is a good thing though, because I think they try to keep their drivers down. They're not like a lot of these other platforms like Uber. They just kind of hire everybody and just kind of send them out there, and then everyone quits, and then they have problems. So, but then they bring back earnings. They multiply your earnings, do so many deliveries, and then they give you this much money, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I kind of want to just focus on these three platforms right now. I know I want to also get into a lot of other things like Instacart, Amazon Flex. Those are just two that come, Ship. I know I've heard a lot about that. Those are all the things that I want to get into. I don't really have the time for that right now. Work's just busy, plus trying to do all these gig jobs. I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this since 2019. So with that, let's get started. I hope, I'm here to help people that are just kind of starting out or wanting to start out, because it's kind of nerve-wracking. It really is. I remember whenever I first started, I didn't really know what to expect. I was just kind of sitting out there in my car, like waiting, and I'm like, what in the world? I should be getting orders and all this other stuff. So anyway, so I want to talk about maximizing earnings. The number one thing that I found out real quick for maximizing earnings was just running multiple apps. So I remember I started out with Uber Eats. That was the first one I started with. It was just because they started me right away. I mean, I literally signed up, and then they just sent me right on. I could, drive as soon as I had my car information, my driver's license, insurance, all that stuff. It was the next day. Everything was approved, and I just literally went right out, started driving for them. DoorDash was pretty quick as well. I know that they also wanted you to have their bag, their red card, all that stuff. That's whenever I first started. And then Uber kind of came out with that during the pandemic. Their card, placing your own orders, all that kind of stuff. And if you haven't gotten one, go ahead and get one. They have some pretty good orders out there with placing your own. You can literally call, place the order with the restaurant, and then do a delivery or something like that whenever you're sitting there waiting. I always message the customer, tell them that, hey, your wait time is like 20 minutes. And a lot of times I can knock out another order during that time. So multi-apping is just huge. It's one of the biggest thing I've found out. It's huge. There's times where DoorDash is just absolutely dead. Uber's just rolling. Postmates may even be having quite a few orders as well. Good orders too. I mean, for Postmates, it's a little bit harder to kind of tell. I usually accept. I kind of look through the order, see what it is, and a lot of times I'll actually reassign, or I can knock it out if I like it, or if it's somewhat close. If I had close orders on Postmates, 99% of the time I'm taking it. They're usually pretty good. I know I've had a lot of luck with people tipping on Postmates, actually quite a bit better than even DoorDash. I don't know, it's just like a trust system that it seems to work, at least in my area. I know all areas are different, all states are different, But here in the Kansas City metro area, I mean, I really have some good luck with Postmates. And a lot of times I get bonuses with them. $5 orders I've had a lot of in the past, $8 orders. So Postmates is really a good one for me. And it's a great one to use while multi-apping. But I really like DoorDash. DoorDash just gives you a bunch of orders. I mean, it's just, they throw it at you all night, which is kind of annoying. It can be at sometimes whenever Uber or, Postmates has a lot of good orders, and then you get all these DoorDash orders thrown in there with you, and you're like, come on, I just want to pause it. Sometimes you do. But yeah, I know DoorDash is a great one. That's one I would really recommend because you just get the most orders. And then I would run Uber Eats aside with it. And then I'd also run the third one, Postmates. Grubhub I'm really trying to get started with. I hope that's going to work out. But those are the three that I really would recommend. They've worked out great for me. A lot of times, like I was saying, Uber Eats is just jam-packed and DoorDash has nothing. Or Postmates, will have a couple orders here and there. But it's a good one to kind of transition to because DoorDash just sends you a bunch of orders. It's really crazy sometimes. And, they're $3 orders. I know the new pay model now. You can get some 250s as well if they're close, kind of close to your area, close to the restaurant, all that stuff. So they claim 24 minutes away. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I haven't actually used the new pay model for DoorDash, but I love the newer one that they had, just the $3. That was a great pay model. I know they still hide those tips. That's really something that annoys me with DoorDash, but typically, not always. Every once in a while you'll be surprised, but typically, if it's an order in my area, if it's an order over, if it's a kind of a hidden amount, it's usually $8.50. A lot of times $7.50 on stacked orders. So typically what I do, if I see one of those like $8.50 orders, I'll look how many items. That's the number one thing you have to do for all of them. I know Uber, it's kind of one of those hidden ones. They just now show you like your actual payout, what your payout is expected to be. And I really like that better. I think that's the best. Uber actually is more upfront than any of the apps that I've been a part of. I know Grubhub's up there too, but not running Grubhub at the moment. But I know that Uber Eats is like one of the most upfront about what they're going to pay you, and then they also pay you for waiting time. So if you have to wait there for 15 minutes, they actually pay you for that. They kick in a little bit of extra for that, and that's really big. And I know DoorDash is kind of starting to do their own thing with that kind of stuff. But to really maximize your earnings, you need to really look. You really have to start with all three. You really need to kind of cipher through. And maybe at the beginning, you may not even want to run multiple apps. I remember at the beginning, whenever I was just starting, I only ran one. Like I said, I ran Uber. Uber was the first one I ran. And it was kind of boring. But then, all of a sudden there was like that one night where it was like kind of taking off all night. Really good night. And made probably $20 an hour, just running one app. That's actually not bad for one. Now DoorDash, I know I can probably run 25 on average, especially through the whole pandemic kind of, orders were quite more frequent. I know a lot of places and areas are still getting orders left and right. I know the last time I was out, still plenty of orders out there, on all three platforms. And I'm sure Grubhub's up there as well. But just starting out, I would really try to just focus maybe on DoorDash. Just sign up with them. They're probably the easiest to get to. A lot of times they have referral bonuses. So if you know somebody who does DoorDash, send them a message. See if they have a referral bonus. Both of you guys can make money that way. It's just an easy one to get started with. They send you a bag, and And then all you do is send your car information, and boom, you're ready to go. They send you a red card as well, so you can place orders. But typically DoorDash, I don't get them that often. So Uber is more frequent with those. So with that being said, though, DoorDash is just a great one to start with. And then once you feel comfortable with that and you're starting to really get the hang of it, just kind of see what DoorDash is. They hide tips. So I know there's a lot of different ones. Like sometimes they'll even hide them with like just like a $7 order. And you'll see like 15 items. You're like, what? There's no way. You accept it. Sure enough, all of a sudden you'll see $150, $125 tab. And you're like, come on, this is stupid. But those items do kind of help you. Now, you got to be careful with some of those items, like the Taco Bell orders, for instance. I know a lot of us probably get frustrated with those Taco Bell orders. They, will put those hot, those hot sauces. And, they'll put like, they want 12. And all of a sudden you'll get a Taco Bell order. You're like, oh man, 25 items. Shoot, well, 20 of them are the hot sauce packets. So it's really one of those things that it's frustrating. You kind of just have to take it, and you can reassign. Worst case scenario. I know a lot of people, they're concerned about all those acceptance rating, all these things. Completion rating, you do need to worry about more. I know there's like 80% completion rating, and then they can actually deactivate you. I know that is a real thing. I've seen several people get deactivated for that on my Facebook marketplace, or not marketplace, but group, my Facebook group that I'm in for DoorDash. I know there's a lot of people that have got deactivated for it. So you really need to be careful with that. But again, if you're accepting good orders, $2 a mile, that's my standard. I know a lot of people probably will argue with that. But again, think about it. So you get an order. Let's just say it's $8 for 4 miles. Okay? So with that being said, is that 4 miles? How much is that to the restaurant that you're away from? So let's just say it's a mile. Okay. So you're a mile away from your restaurant. Now you have to travel to the restaurant, and then you have to wait at the restaurant. Typically, they are getting better. Restaurants are getting better. Everything's kind of flowing. I know it's newer here in the Kansas City area, but again, it's just getting better. Every time I go out, I feel like it's getting closer. Those pickup times are getting good. Restaurants are just starting to get used to it. So if you're waiting at the restaurant for that $8 order. It was a mile away. Now you have to travel out to that house, 3 miles. So now you're already 3 miles away. Now, if that 3 miles is close to a restaurant or in a restaurant area, that's great. That's perfect. But again, say if you're right next to a restaurant and it's 4 miles away and no restaurants are in that area. Now, all of a sudden, your back time, you're traveling 4 miles now back to the restaurant area. It's just, now you're at $1 a mile. So I know a lot of people were always talking about $1 a mile. I can't make that work for me. And plus, I've increased my earnings by doing $2 a mile. And unless of course I'm in an area that has a lot of restaurants. So typically in my area, restaurants are pretty spread out in my area. So there are some houses close to restaurants, and typically I'll be out, I'll take a big order. It's way out. And then on my way back, I'll get one kind of closer to a restaurant area. Well, then I see the delivery is close to restaurants or in a main big area that are close to restaurants. And I will accept those and closer to $1 a mile, but typically nothing under $1.50. I don't ever hardly do that. Now, I do risk some of those big, I'll see like a 12-item order from Applebee's or, some kind of bigger restaurant, Buffalo Wild Wings, some of those. I'll take gambles with those. But again, we don't know the full payouts for these. So you really have to be careful on how far they are. Now, I just with experience, and I know a lot of these customers, I know like DoorDash, they especially, they'll send you to reoccurring customers. I mean, all the time. I mean, so if you take those big orders, you're going to get with customers that are going to have higher tipping pay. That's just the name of the game. And if they like your service, they give you 5 stars. You know, always message people whenever you're getting ready to deliver their food, just so they know that you're on their way. It's quicker. You know, a lot of times they answer the door. I mean, I know now a lot of times we just leave it at the door. But again, things are starting to change. We've got the vaccines out. People are starting to feel more comfortable. So a lot of people do want to see you at the door now. It's just faster for everybody. Plus, they don't have to, you know, wait for their food getting cold or anything like that. Just waiting outside. I know now it's summer, but a lot of times in the wintertime, you just sit out there for 2-3 minutes. I mean, food's already starting to get cold, even with that hot bag. So, again, it's just one of those things you really got to feel out. It's really just comes with experience. But the biggest thing that I have found, multi-apping, finding orders that are, you know, nothing under $1.50. And typically I always do 2, unless it's in a good spot. But those are 2 huge things that I have found. Just saves on gas. It just, you know, you don't have to pay near as much. It saves on wear and tear on your car. Everything. You know, this is your own personal car. This isn't, you know, DoorDash's car. So think about it. You got to pay for all the tires, all the gas. You're an independent contractor. This is your own business. So think about it like that. What would you do to run somebody's orders out if it was your own business? If you had to go do all the work, come back with it, what would you know? It's everybody's preference is different. So, but again, this is just getting, you know, you know, this is maximizing your money. Just really, it's just one of those things that you really kind of have to feel out. But in my opinion, $2 a mile is by far the best. Nothing under $1.50. Sometimes, you know, it's a slower night. You do kind of have to accept some of those on the lower end, $1.50. Kind of take what you can get. And again, but sometimes you take those orders, all of a sudden, right behind it would have been a big one. Could have been a $15, $20 order. So again, these are all things that I've been just experience. Acceptance rating, huge thing. Don't accept things you don't want to take. Period. I don't care what your acceptance rating is. Typically, mine's between 8 to 12%. That's just what I do. A lot of people's are even lower. I've seen a lot of people lower. I'm like, wow, you guys must really get a lot of garbage orders, because I mean, I have been around like 4 before, but that's just kind of when I was starting out. Uber Eats was kind of my leader, still kind of is, but DoorDash, on the other hand, you know, I just get so many orders. You know, they just bombard you with just tons of orders, and really kind of frustrating sometimes, especially whenever you got a good order on Uber and you're just literally, you just hear your phone vibrate, or, you know, feel your phone vibrate, whatever you have, and they hit you with like 5, 6, 7. So again, it's all what you want. It's how you would run your own business. Me personally, nothing under $2. Nothing under $2 a mile. Typically, even $1.50 is even on the low end for me. But again, slow nights, I do take them. So these are just things that maximize your earnings. I know a lot of you, don't be nervous out there. If you're just starting, don't be nervous. It's the number one thing. I know I'm really bombarding you with a lot of information. A lot of this stuff is going to make sense as soon as you hit the road, as soon as you log on. You know, you're going to start seeing $3 orders for 5 miles. You're going to be like, what in the world? I'm not taking that. That's exactly how you should say. And then all of a sudden, if you multi-app, you know, Uber is going to be sending you stuff. Postmates is going to be sending you stuff. DoorDash, just crazy. And it gets overwhelming. So all this while you're driving. So again, you have to really be careful out there. Just know your limits, know what you can handle. If something's really annoying you and you can't handle it, turn it off. Don't worry about it. Whichever one you feel like is doing you less good. So whether that's Postmates, whether that's Uber, turn them all off. It's that simple. You're an independent contractor. You log on, log off whenever you want. If you got something that comes up, you can log off. If you got something that you just want to log on, log on. It's perfect. Even just sitting there. So just getting used to it. So just sit there. Just kind of see how your area is. Just sit in an area closer to restaurants. Just sit there. Run all three at the same time. Never even take an order. Just kind of get a feel for it. Kind of see what restaurants are busier, kind of which ones you want to sit by whenever you start. It's a really good practice. I know it sounds stupid, but it really works. I mean, there's restaurants where I now sit by whenever it's starting to get a little slower, or maybe even later at night. I know there are kind of some restaurants that people really like at night. And a lot of times it's the same customers a lot of times that order at the same times. You just really got to know patterns. It's huge. All this to maximize your earnings. This is going to be huge for you to know. I really like gig work. I never thought that it would work for me. I honestly never thought I could just deliver somebody's food and make, $35 an hour is typically what I would make. It's easy. It's good money. As long as you take a lot of these steps that I'm talking about. As long as you multi-app. That's a huge one. Really huge. And I know a lot of people don't like to do that. That's fine. You don't have to start out like that. But if you really want to maximize your earnings, that's what you're going to have to do. It's huge. Can't stress that enough. Like I said, I just really want to get with Grubhub. I want to get with 4, maybe even 5. Who knows? Maybe I'll sign up with Instacart. Maybe Instacart will have some good ones during the evening. I don't know. But anyway, all these things, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to bring this information to you. I'm willing to learn kind of more what people want. Just really happy to be here. Really excited to share all this content. I know a lot of this stuff just doesn't make sense because, I'm newer at YouTube. I don't know exactly how to do all this. I don't know how to run a channel exactly. So please, if you have any questions, comment. I'll try to do better videos with different content. I'll do videos with questions that people have. I'm willing to do all this stuff. I'm willing to learn. Really, really happy to be here. Really excited. Starting this channel. I want to be here doing gig work because I really want to kind of talk about other stuff as well. I want to talk about stocks, which I did make a video on that. I know a lot of this stuff is confusing though. Just bear with me. Trying to learn, trying to get the hang of things. But yes, very excited to start all this. Very. And I eventually want to kind of tie this all in, gig work to stocks. Because I want to, a lot of us, this is kind of a side hustle for us. A lot of us, this is a full-time gig. And you can make this work on full-time. I've seen people do it. I've seen people make $1,500 a week pretty easily on 5 days of work. That's pretty good. That's not bad. I don't know how they do that exactly. I know they do a lot of, they just do everything. They do Amazon Flex, Instacart. They just sign up with everything, literally. And the gig economy is just growing like crazy. It's getting more in demand. I think this is just going to be kind of a newer thing. It's going to be huge. And if I were you, I want to be a part of this. The pandemic just opened up doors for this, for you to walk through. And it's easy, and it's very profitable as well. As long as you have a good gas mileage car. Wouldn't recommend it for a big truck, especially older truck that doesn't get very good gas mileage. A lot of people still do it though. I've seen it before. But again, just to maximize your earnings, these are just the steps that I would take. And again, thank you for joining me. Just really excited to bring another video. My next video is going to be over stocks, and I'm really excited to bring you content over that. So, thank you, everyone.